The 80s, baby. Drug, alcohol, and porn. Okay, well, we all love to get down and party from time to time, but we're not really here to talk about that. This is a very particular subject that I'm happy to cover in this product because I really think it has to be talked about more than ever in this world today. Obviously, this can vary around different topics depending on culture, but please remember to keep an open mind and to not judge others or yourself as we walk and we talk about these things in the next following chapters. I mean, we just did get done talking about not judging yourself when it came to owning your masculine sexuality, right? So, when it comes to drugs and alcohol, this can be a very tricky subject. Now, the best outcome that you want in your life will only happen on how you perform in your life. So if we are numbing our pain with alcohol or drugs or have some addictions, then this is something we need to focus on, or attraction will not work with women, especially long-term healthy relationships that will fulfill you. Now, if we aren't having an addiction, it's important to understand there is nothing less attractive than a man getting more drunk than a woman. If you and the girl like to share some drinks from time to time, make sure you aren't overdoing it on drinks. Many men actually prefer to drink a lot on dates to take the nerves away, but this defeats the purpose. Obviously, get your buzz on if you prefer, but don't think of this as you have to drink to get the girl. Alcohol needs to be monitored with the man and the woman. Here are a couple scenarios worth mentioning that I've seen go wrong because of alcohol and drugs. Number one, we can't maintain an erection. Number two, the girl drinks too much and ends up regretting the night of sex you guys just had. Three, you get too drunk, you say dumb, you know what, and the woman loses all attraction for you. Obviously, the same thing goes for drugs, but it's really important to understand when we start a situationship with a girl and the situationship is lived off of drugs and alcohol, then Houston, we have a problem. Yes, it can be a lot of fun, but it never ends up going well. So let's break this down. Let's talk about a very popular topic that a lot of you have been asking me to talk about, and that is pornography. The most common thing that I see when it comes to pornography is the following. One, pornography creates unrealistic fantasy expectations of what people do, act, and sound like, and what sex should be like. Pornography also makes the brain take dopamine shots, which can cause an addiction. Pornography can make men wired to focus more on bodies and body parts. Pornography can become the idea of a real sexual relationship. Pornography can become a safe place where men hide their sexuality in this trance and just stay here and only perform for her. Okay. I am not opposed to pornography, but I don't think it helps men, to be honest. I actually think it sets them back. I do think that we can create a healthy relationship with pornography, though, and it depends also on the types that we watch, and this is something you can do every once in a while or with your partner. But when we start to have a relationship with this as we need it to turn us on is when we have to be very careful, because this is when we can lose our focus on women when we really want to give her that sexual experience. I think when pornography is used, it should be done openly with a partner so it does not create this hypnosis effect. It's really important because then when we are in sexual relationships, we're looking for that hypnosis effect, but you have to be in tune with the woman, and that's what takes that sexual presence away. We'll go more into this. Prostitutes, sugar babies, and strippers. This is a popular one that a lot of you guys wanted me to talk about. Listen, everyone has to make a living, and not all sugar babies and prostitutes and strippers sleep with men. But what I must say is that this is also a fantasy. When we tend to date these women, it can become an ego addiction. More often than not, the men that I've coached that end up wanting to get this type of woman needs to do some inner healing around their relationship with sex and their sexual masculinity. When we start to incorporate dating and sex with women who get paid to do this, yes, it can give us experience and no shame for you. if you do, just use protection for you and her safety, but it's important to see how often we are going to be doing this and why we keep going back. Many men think that they can get a woman to be in a relationship this way. And this is the principle of sexual compulsive behavior, followed by the roots we talked about when it comes to shameful or fearful topics, which is the link of fantasy and not reality. Here, where we get familiar response like pornography. A lot of times, the fantasy will outweigh our reality when we start to really focus on these things and get used to them or tend to desire something from them. Let's talk about another popular topic, and that is why you may lose your erection. There are 4 types of reasons that men lose erection. I'm not clinically diagnosing this or you, but giving you some feedback to keep in mind when it comes to losing your erection. So, one of them would be you have maybe high or low testosterone. Typically, men over the age of 35 can see a decline in their testosterone. This is also something that can go down a lot sooner more than ever these days. Full blood work panels is so important if you are noticing that this is happening often. Self-esteem, depression, anxiety, stress, nervousness, relationship with sex, performance anxiety, or overweight. This is what happens. If we are in a relationship with a fantasy and we have that compulsive behavior with sex, what can happen is we can lose our erection earlier and easier when we're intimate with a woman because our mind is subconsciously trained on the fantasy or compulsion behavior between pornography or sugar babies or strippers. And when we're intimate with a woman that you really like, it's a different type of feeling. And so the body responds differently. And that's why we lose sometimes our erection. Next is drugs or alcohol is involved. Getting centered into your body will be so important here. We have some more things in your syllabus to try first that you will see. There's a meditation that I have and some videos as well for you that I've provided. I think it's really important no matter what to get your testosterone check period and get your health check period if this is something that continues to happen for you. Let's talk about premature ejaculation. Did you know that some penises can be more sensitive than others? I had no idea, until I worked with one of my sex experts. Man, I've learned a lot from her. The best thing that you can do if any of these happen is be really upfront about it. The more you let a woman see that it gets to you in a negative way, the worse it will be for the relationship or the sexual relationship. You can show concern, but you don't want to doubt yourself because of it. You can say things like, I'm really turned on by you, and I might just be a little bit nervous because of it. Let's just take our time with some foreplay. Or you can say, yes, this is something new to me. Seems like he's getting really nervous around you. Then you just are going to really try to connect your body with your mind and just center yourself back to you and not her. Again, if our brain is wired from sexual compulsive behavior, we will find ourselves in these predicaments. There are videos that will give you examples on how to do this when you are not with a woman too. One thing I must say here is when you feel that an orgasm may be coming on, don't be shy to tell the woman to wait and stop for a minute so you can get back to your center. There is nothing wrong with that, and I notice a lot of men don't do this. Many reasons are the same top 4 reasons that I stated with erectile dysfunction, but one of the other things that are a little different with premature ejaculation are some of the following on top of the other possibilities mentioned before. Between 30 to 40% of men will experience premature ejaculation at one point in their life. So let's get into it. 1, new to sex and haven't had a lot of experience. 2, masturbates and quickly and too early. And 3, underlyingly erectile dysfunction has a diagnosis of this. This is very important if you do have that diagnosis. Now, what's really important for this week is to really look at your workbooks, look at the extra videos that I have around this. I know that sometimes another thing that men always ask me is, Apollonia, how do I communicate with a woman when these things are happening in my relationship? Because women do sometimes get frustrated. Typically, women will get frustrated because they're immature or they have a lack of education around this, right? So it's your job to educate the woman. A lot of times, women will feel like it has something to do with them, that you're not attracted to them, because women are insecure as well at times when it comes to sex and with their man that they love or, well, the man that they like. So, what's important that you do is you don't, like I said, let the conversation take a hold of you, but instead educate her and positively reinforce this and get back to your center and figure out why this starts to happen. If this is something that happens to you or something that we've talked about in anything when it comes to desire, lust, reality versus fantasy, your sexually masculinity, there is going to be so much in your workbooks that you have to work through in this week, and also a lot of extra videos that I want you to listen to, guys. Now, in your coaching sessions and your group coaching sessions, I'll be there to support you as well. Remember, this is a safe place for all of you. I congratulate you for finishing week 5, and I'll see you again soon in our last week in week 6. Bye for now.